Welcome to AccessWDUN.com Sports as we have a special presentation for you here on Access this afternoon as we welcome in former East Hall standout and brand new Wake Forest assistant coach Frank Davis into the show with us as he joins Jeff and I today. Frank, how you doing, man?
Doing great. Thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Man, that's that kind of gives me a little chills. Wake Forest assistant. I mean, that's big time, Frank.
Yeah, so I'm really excited. I mean, it's an incredible opportunity. Obviously, with what we were able to accomplish at East Tennessee State, very proud of. Great players, great coaches, great administration. It was hard to say goodbye and to move on from that, but I know the program's in great hands with Coach Jason Shea, one of our assistants there, who's going to do a tremendous job in leading the program forward.
I got a question. Were you not part of the conversation to perhaps take over at East Tennessee and get your first head coaching thing, or did you just feel like you needed to kind of move with the coach at Wake Forest now?
Well, they're so difficult to get, and in my position as operations, I really try to do the best I can in my current spot, and I hope one day to be able to have the opportunity to lead my own program, but there's only so many jobs out there, especially at the Division I level, and to get any of them is just a huge, huge task. So I feel like I'm getting closer and getting in the right direction, and hopefully one day being able to reach that. But Wake Forest, Coach Forbes, felt like it was a great opportunity. Obviously, I've never been at this level before, to be able to have and to be here with him. Something I couldn't pass up on.
Well, Frank, you guys had a great season last year at East Tennessee. Won the conference to SoCon. What only lost 4 games. Just an outstanding season for you guys. Maybe talk a little bit about that season and how that's helped you propel into the ACC.
Yeah, it was an emotional finish, to say the least, given the situation that unfolded. We won our 30th game to win the SoCon Tournament championship. And just an unbelievable feeling, the first of my career. And, I mean, it's something you can't describe. And then to take that and turn around and something you prepared your whole life for, to go to the NCAA Tournament, to have that taken away in the blink of an eye, it was tough. And I really felt for our guys. I really felt for our seniors, especially just knowing all that they put into it. So it was disappointing, but I am thankful that we were one of the few conferences in the country that was actually able to complete their tournament. So if you talk about that happening a week sooner, then we don't get any of that. So we are glad for that.
We were talking before we sat down to record. What are some of the differences that you've noticed, at Wake Forest, big time ACC program? I mean, they've won. They've had their share of ACC tournament wins, been to the NCAA. What are some of the things that you're noticing there that maybe you didn't have at East Tennessee? And, is it a lot to comprehend and bring in?
Yeah, it's still really hard to grasp my mind around. I mean, I've been up here for a week, basically sleeping on my office table here, just trying to plug away and catch up on some things. But the facilities is probably the biggest difference. And, there's obviously going to be some more resources, but it's still a situation where, you have to make the most of what you have. And fortunately, we worked with some great people at ETSU that were able to make more out of less. And both programs have a lot of basketball tradition. When you talk about East Tennessee State and the run they made in the 90s there, and you talk about Wake Forest with Chris Paul, Tim Duncan, a lot of these names that we kind of have grown up on. We hope that we can have the same kind of impact and really set a fire to our fans and the community and get that going like we did at East Tennessee State. So I think the blueprint is similar in the sense that we have to rejuvenate some energy and really get going as far as recruiting. But I think that we can have some success and really build off what past guys have done.
Well, you're talking about winning the conference, emotional swing with COVID-19 canceling everything, and we were talking before we went on, Frank, about you guys in the recruiting area. Now, there's no AAU basketball, there's no showcase tournaments, there's no anything for you guys to look at and recruit. How is that affecting recruiting right now for you guys?
Well, it's certainly a different dynamic for us, and we're in a profession where we're relationship driven. I mean, that's what we do is we sell our programs, sell our staff and our university to these kids, and to not be able to do that face to face it's difficult. And you talk about a new staff coming to a new program with a group of guys who know nothing about us, and we're trying to sell. Oh, we're great guys, we're this and we're that. But to do it like we are here over the phone, it's just a different dynamic, and that's created some challenges. And there's still a lot of uncertainty about what's going to happen with AAU and some of the younger classes that are coming up. July is pivotal for college coaches being able to evaluate and see players of the next group, but kind of changed how we recruit and what we do. But we're going to continue to adapt and continue to evaluate the best we can given the circumstances.
You know, you were a great prep player. How are you able to, I believe me and you did a story, I think 2016, you won the Assistant Coaches Award nationwide. I mean, that was a huge award. How are you able to, you played at the top level, won state tournaments, were recruited, all around. How are you able to take your experiences from what when you were a prep player, now that you're a coach, how are you able to bring that when you're out talking to potential recruits?
Well, I just try to share my experiences and what basketball has meant to me. I mean, that's ultimately the reason why I'm doing what I am now, is because it's had a special place in my heart and my life, and what I've done, and it's taken me a lot of places. So when we talk to guys and our assistants talk to guys about what Wake Forest or what East Tennessee State can do for them, I mean, I think it just opens up a ton of doors. I've played with a lot of guys and coached a lot of guys that are first-time graduates or first of their family. So to be able to play the game you love and to set yourself up for life after basketball, I think that's a really special thing. And at a place like Wake Forest, especially when you talk about getting a degree from here and playing basketball, I mean, the just limitless doors are open for you. So that's probably my biggest selling point.
East Hall, I mean, and it's even back when you played, I mean, we're talking kind of a small school, very rural and community atmosphere. How much being at East Hall in an environment like that, how has that helped you also?
Yeah, I think being at East Hall and being in that community just really taught me a lot about community and just friendships. And I still have great ones to this day. I mean, I talk to those guys all the time. Coach Davenport, Coach Dick, Seth Vining. I mean, all those guys were just instrumental in my life and my coaching career, and I'm thankful for those. And I think that has a lot to do with it. It's just me learning how to treat people and how to be obviously how to work hard and do the right thing, but just to be a good person and be a good guy and work hard.
Yeah, speaking on the East Hall end, I'm going to ask you this, Frank, because we hadn't talked to you in a while. What did you think when you heard the news that Seth Vining was stepping back into East Hall?
Well, it was a shock. I mean, I'll be honest. I did not expect Coach Vining to pull that out on us, but I understand. I mean, he's obviously a phenomenal coach. I mean, one of the greatest of all time to go down, and I get it. It's hard to be away from, and as passionate as he is about it. I mean, I was shocked, but not completely surprised, just because I know how much involved in his life it was and what that place means to him. So yes, sir.
It was tough to see it end kind of the way it did. I'm sure that he would like to have had a better ending on that second thing. But I did kind of want to ask you a little bit about East Hall, because you were on some great teams. Did you win one or two titles? I know y'all lost one. I think you won one. Which was the better team? The one that won the title or the one that didn't win the title?
My junior year, that 2005 team, 04-05, was probably our best team, in my opinion. Just when you talk about from top to bottom, our depth, I mean, we had several phenomenal players on that team, and we just overwhelmed guys. I mean, first half, a lot of close scores, a lot of close game, but then our depth just kind of took over, and our strength in numbers, and that was by far the biggest difference, I think. And we had this big debate when Coach Vining put on the alumni game not too long ago about which championship team was the best, and That's still my selling point, is just the depth of that 2005 team was a special group.
Who was the best player that I know, you look at Chesley, which was a little before your time, and you got Walt. In your mind, I know you grew up watching Chesley. Who was the better player?
The better player between Chesley or Mark?
Well, or was there another player at East Hall that was better than those two?
Well, that's a difficult question. You put me on the spot on that one. East Hall has had so many.
You didn't think you
players.
were going to get out of this easy, did you?
No, not at all. And I think that's what a cool thing about East Hall is. There's no retired jerseys. Just because there's so much tradition and there's so many guys that have gone on before you, it's like, where do you set the bar? Obviously Chesley was just a freak show of his talent, athletically, basketball wise. He's as talented as anybody I've ever seen. And to grow up, I know him and Mark were both really instrumental to see those guys play. Antoine Welchel falls in that category as well, as a special player kind of around my time that I grew up and wanted to be like. So that's tough to say. All those guys have a proven track record and accomplished a lot of things at East Hall, but the list goes on and on and on about perennial players from East Hall. Well,
Walter, we were talking about that. He was sick in the finals and almost willed East Hall to a win when he was just almost a full-blown flu out there on the court. That was one of the great performances I've ever seen on a team that wasn't able to win a title.
Yeah, Walter was a phenomenal player, and obviously anybody that can verbally commit or sign for a football scholarship at the highest level and then turn around and do the same thing at the same place for a basketball scholarship, that just goes to show you the type of talent that he was. But Walt was tough. I remember that game, and he gave everything we had, and unfortunately we came up a little short, but by no means was it due to the fact anything Walter Hill left off. He poured it all out there every night and was a great player, a great teammate.
One of the things that I remember about you is I remember watching you your first couple of years. You had just a bullseye shot. Correct me if I'm wrong, but between your sophomore and your junior year, you completely reworked your jump shot. And I remember coming out the first game and watching you shoot, and I'm like, what happened to Frank? He's shooting it really weird. But then it turned out that seemed to kind of give you the boost. What did you see that made you feel like you needed to change your shot?
Well, I don't know, honestly, how much purposely going and changing my shot. I know I did have mechanically a few things that Coach Viking probably wasn't the most proud of, but for me, it was about being comfortable. And I tell our guys and players all the time, it's about, one, being able to get your shot off, and two, what you're comfortable with. And if those two things are at a high level and you do it enough, then you're going to be capable of making shots. And that's just kind of what I was comfortable with. And I spent a lot of time working at it. And it was successful. So I think guys sometimes get a little caught up in having to be the exact right way, which is good to have perfect form, but not everybody is like that. We're not all going to be JJ Redick in the window every time. It's different for different folks. So that's my take on it.
Well, Frank, let's go back to the college game. Now, you're in the ACC now, the best conference in college basketball. You look at it from top to bottom. But I want to really discuss recruiting and how you guys go about the recruiting, of these athletes, and what exactly do you look for in a high school basketball player?
Yeah, so with high school basketball players, and especially at Wake Forest, we have to make sure it's the right type of fit academically, and it's a tough program. Academically, they're going to have a lot of requirements, and as a student athlete, you're required to do things that a normal student would with an increased workload. So obviously, the first thing is making sure we get the type of guys that are aware of that and want to accept those type of challenges and are able to handle it. The second thing that we always look for is just character. Do guys play hard? Are they coachable? Can they be a good teammate? Because it's easy to sit back and look at things when it's all going well and you're on a run. But what are you going to do when it's adversity hits? You know, and that's the type of guy you want to have with you on your side, is that you can count on and depend on when things get a little rocky. And then obviously you have your just plain black and white stuff where you're looking at guys' height and size and their abilities. But I think there's a lot of intangible stuff that go into it as well with that.
How do coaches play? I say play the game, but how do coaches deal with the, when you go recruit somebody and, it's a 5-star athlete, you go recruit them and you're battling against somebody else and all this stuff happens with them and then they play the game. Do you have to play the game with them?
Yeah. Ultimately we try to control what we can control, obviously, and we want to sell ourselves. We want guys to come to Wake Forest because they want to be here. I think when you have to stretch it a little too far and you have to try to convince guys and almost beg them to come, then it doesn't always turn out in your favor. So there's a limit to that. We got to recruit guys that want to be here. And like I said, in our experience, those guys have had a lot of success, the ones where it means something to be at a place where they're wanted and loved and just by the community and the staff.
I tell you, Frank, it's, you seem to kind of be taking a step up every time you make a move. What I know it's hard to sit there and say, how long do you want to be at Wake Forest? I mean, is that where you want to finish your career? What, in your mind, what are your goals and how long do you think it might take you to get there?
Well, for me, and I found this out early into my career when Coach Lee Glenn kind of gave me my first opportunity, and he used to pick me up along the side of 985 on the way to the games in Flowery Branch. It's all about the journey. I mean, and there's no way to pinpoint which way that's going to take you. I don't like to look too far ahead. I just try to enjoy the moment where I'm at now. And I still don't think I've completely taken in exactly where I am right now. I mean, when I walk in this building and look around, it still kind of blows my mind. But I just want to work hard and do the best I can and enjoy where we're at now and where that takes us. I mean, who knows? If you would have told me 5 days ago that I'd be here, then I probably wouldn't have believed you. So, I mean, what's next? I'm excited about and can't wait to see.
Well, I think it's just fantastic that we got a local guy from Gainesville and little old East Hall. It's
hey, Jeff, go ahead and do your cheer, Jeff. Go ahead.
I don't know if I can do it right, so you correct me. It's like, is that right, Frank? Did I do it right? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I did it right. But that's the best cheer in prep sports, without a doubt. It's certainly in this area, but I think it's just great that we got somebody from this area representing us at the top level of college basketball.
Oh, I got to ask this question, Jeff.
I really hope it works out.
Jeff, I got to ask this question to Frank. All right, so, Frank, let's say you get a D1 head coaching job. Are you going to hire Joe Dix as your assistant?
Well, I mean, Thanksgiving would be really awkward if I didn't. So, Thanksgiving, holidays, and it'd be a weird environment, atmosphere. So, yeah, I'd have to look really long and hard at that. But I don't know. His boss, my mom, I don't know if she'd approve, though. She's got some tight restrictions on him.
Does she? So does she? Well, the thing is, if you did, he likes to take that jacket off. Yeah. I mean, how would you be able to keep the jacket on? I mean, is he going to be able to keep a jacket on if he wasn't the top dog?
Probably not. I think any capacity he'd be throwing the jacket at some point.
The over/under, we always said.
I'm gonna tell you what, Frank Davis, Joe Dix.
Hey.
Jarvis Davenport. I think that'd be a great duo or triumvirate right there.
No doubt.
Yes, sir.
All right, Frank. We won't keep you any longer, man. We appreciate it.
Are we jumping a little far ahead there, Frank?
No, yeah, maybe.
Hey, good luck.
I think it's
we
great.
hope to hear from you and hear great things from you down the road.
Absolutely. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you.
Well, you're welcome, Frank, and we appreciate you taking some time because we know you're a busy dude.
No worries. Thank you, guys, and we'll keep in touch. I appreciate it.